Hi guys, Mr. Jaeger here, and welcome back to another channel update. Woo! And welcome to April. Or welcome into the part of April, but still. So yes, we are back, and April is here, and the year is just shooting by. Jesus Christ. But, regardless of that, we must persevere and play on. So, lots happened, well, health-wise, lots happened last month. So yeah, basically I spent the first half of March feeling like shit and not really being able to record because either my throat was being a pain or my head was just not in it. I don't know what the hell I caught, but it really sucked. So yeah, that took a while to fix. Then came the wondrous news of the Then came the wondrous chaos of a near end of financial year. You know, how, to be fair, this was the same in both retail and where I work. So everything's just been absolute manic in terms of how things were going. So you know, people were off work, other people were off sick. Things were, you know, we were getting busy. It was just absolute nightmare fuel. But the good news is that, well, with that over, hopefully we can now have a bit of peace and quiet and a bit of sanity returning to the world. Okay, that's a very big ask, I realise nowadays, but considering how everything else has been going, a little bit more stability would be nice, or at least a little bit less chaos. So, yeah, it's two sides of the same coin, technically, with that statement, but I just want to be sure. Anyway. So, what is going on with news? Well, going on to the news segment for the recorded stuff, Hearts of Iron 4. So, Hearts of Iron 4 was in a bit of a state, or at least in a bit of a, well, a bit of a hoo-ha, because unfortunately, Paradox does what Paradox does best. Releases a completely worthless DLC that fucks any kind of mod you've got running at this point in time. Which is great if you didn't really want to care about stuff, but as I do kind of care about that stuff, yeah, I'm not in the best of happinesses for that particular thing. So, basically what happened was, the save we had, for context, and since the community post probably hasn't been read by a lot of people, we lost the save, even though, technically speaking, we'd accomplished the objectives. Hearts of Iron 4, the main objective was really capture the East Coast like we've done in the past and sort of see what happens from there. So that is something that you can get, and it's all been fine. But I was kind of in the mood to progress this to the West Coast, and I was shaping up to have a pretty fucking epic duel between myself and another nation, which, you know, pretty fucking cool. Unfortunately, however, because at the time I was unaware of just how close the DLC was going to launch, I basically missed up. I fucked up in a sense that I didn't know until like maybe a couple of days beforehand, and then by that point I was too ill to do anything, so the save kind of died. But I am determined to get this fucking thing done, because I spent time on the bloody thumbnail. I quite like the bloody thumbnail. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically start again only a few years into the thing, so I can kind of get... So rather than having to sort of go straight from the back and then to the front, it's like, okay, we know where we know what we need to do. We know how it works. I'm still going to go for what we need to do, but rather than fuck up and spend more time wasting it trying to be, you know, antsy-pantsy, whatever, I can sort of be slightly faster with some of the other stuff, because obviously then other shit will happen a little bit faster, which means then we can get the, you know, the main objective done and then over towards the actual objective, which is going on to the West Coast. So that's my plan. We'll be doing more or less non-stop recording of that thing. So to forewarn anyone else, I will do a non-stop recording session on that almost, because so any kind of advice or tips or hints I will take on board for potential future series, but unfortunately, due to the nature of what I'm going to need to do to make sure that this fucking thing decides to work this time, I'm going to have to keep doing that. I may mention this a few times in the actual episode as well, because I'm getting pig sick and tired of recording something, trying to be sort of relatively close to when I upload it so that people can talk and give feedback and it's all awesome, as I originally fucking intended to do it, but I guess we can't have nice things with Paradox involved. So then, when it comes to the other, so that way then we'll get the series done, everything will be fine, and then after I finish recording, you know, the whole thing, then Paradox can release as many updates as they want, because I won't really be recording it, so fuck you then. So that's that one sorted on that one. So that is what's going on there. In other news, let's go on to Empire. So Empire is getting pretty damn hectic. If I know myself correctly, and I do, I'm going to go over to YouTube and then check things. I believe we're at a point where things are getting very spicy with the series, i.e. there is a war between us and Sweden, which is pretty fucking hectic. There is a bit war between us and Britain, which makes naval combat a very, very challenging affair. And finally, there is a thing between us and we're in the final stages of the Mahatharaka Confederacy, which is both good and bad. Good in the sense that we don't have to fight any big forces anymore and have to risk losing territory or anything like that. Bad in the sense that we're going to have to sit down there for a while whilst the local population chills the fuck out. Now, hopefully, because I've got the whole abolition of slavery in the background being researched, that may no longer... I don't know how many turns I've got left, probably enough to make it last too long. But hopefully, by that point, I'll have been able to sort of swing around and get the necessary victory that we need, so that we can move other shit up north. Because obviously, the biggest and strongest of my troops is currently fighting in India, and all I've got at the moment is a defensive, basically QRF forces in the Western Front, trying to hold back. Or the Prussian front, I should say, which obviously, they're not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but unfortunately, because they're all fresh recruits, they have a disadvantage in their first battle, which could cost me dearly. So that's going to be fun to deal with. But apart from that, things are getting quite exciting. I mean, the finale of the war is definitely on the horizon. I can see it now tangibly. With the invasion of Sweden and Swedish territory, it's going to be quite epic for that one. So I'm looking forward to seeing... I'm looking forward to saying goodbye to that series, because I'm definitely not a fan of that mod. Definitely not a fan of that mod. But it's nice to sort of finally wrap that one up and sort of say, yep, that's okay. We're doing peaceful. Finally, on the recorded content frontier, there is for BattleTech. So BattleTech is plodding along just nicely. I don't see any particular finale on the horizon. It looks like we are in fact entering the meta game, even though I'm like, we've been recording this for like 20 or so episodes. This is getting a bit ridiculous now. I'm still in the early stages, or in the beginning to enter the mid stages, I should say, by my good friend. So thanks a bunch. Really helping my optimism there. But no, it's just been one of those things that I will. It's definitely, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of fun. The new particular deck. I think by the time at this point I've released the. I haven't. Oh, shut up then. But yeah, we're approaching a point which I won't go spoiler into, but I will mention we are approaching a point where things will begin to happen, and the things that will begin to happen will be radically different from what we have been dealing with so far, and it will spell quite the consequence for how we navigate through the series. So that's all I'm going to mention about that, so keep peeled. In other news, in somewhat exciting news / other things, Star Citizen. I know I've been mentioning a lot about this. It's a game that I am forever getting cursed with in terms of like how to just make content for, but I have been a bit distracted lately, playing a lot of that. You may have noticed as well that I've been playing a lot of the I've been streaming it a few times as well, whilst trying to It's been interrupting my live streaming content a little bit, because I've just been so hooked. Basically, to summarize, to sort of explain the story, basically one of my friends from an old clan, the BSI group that I was with, which I'm no longer with, basically approached me and sort of said like he wants to sort of the situation with the situation. I won't go into like details because obviously there's a lot of potential drama and everything else like that, and it's not something I'm really interested in explaining totally. But basically, things that I originally signed up for the BSI group for were no longer really suiting what I wanted to have out of a group. And one of my friends, he basically was like, well, I'm forming up my own little group. We're going to do something different, and it feels a lot more like a much more stronger niche than what we had with BSI. So I really like that, and I've been helping new players, like brand new Star Citizen players with the game. It's been awesome. I do love that in Star Citizen. Like, I love being able to teach people how to play the game. I love being able to show them stuff. It's a really awesome experience to be able to see someone get hear the wow when they see like a big ship for the first time. Like if they see a Reclaimer, an 890 jump, a Carrack, I fucking love that. It's such a great feeling when you see that kind of passion start to eke out, and you're just like, that's what I love this game for. So yeah, that's been a lot of fun doing that. So I've been playing a fair amount of that, and obviously that has meant that I've been spending some time in Star Citizen doing some other stuff. In terms of content recording, I really don't know if there is any real what's the word? I really don't know if there's actually any serious kind of what's the word I'm trying to find? I'm trying to figure out the right kind of oh god, my brain's completely fucked. In terms of what to do, live streaming seems to only be the thing that comes to my mind when it comes to content. I mean, I know technically speaking, what I've just mentioned about how I have passion about tutorials, it's like, the thing with tutorials and script writing or whatever is I'm really bad at the script writing part side of things. Like, my ability to focus and concentrate on stuff like that is not enough that it ends up with me losing focus or drowning out. So I need to find the right kind of technique for that one. But at the same time, it's like I need to also keep it entertaining, because as always, you don't want to make it as boring as shit, because that would be boring as shit. So I don't know. We will see. We will see. But regardless, it's been a lot of fun. And to be fair, the news in Star Citizen has been going crazy. I mean, we recently had the announcement that a successful server meshing has taken place in Evocati testing. And actually, they've been able to make someone get a working jump gate. Like, someone actually successfully jumped on the jump gate. I know, it's fantastic. This is the biggest bit of news that we've seen in Star Citizen in a very fucking long time. And a lot of people, some people might hear this and just go, so? Like, that's part of the core game. But it's like, this shit was built from the ground up. And it also means that the quality, like, the tangibility of this game, it's always was been, in a sense, not a far distant sort of thing, where I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, this is literally could be happening. This is something that it feels like, yeah, no, we're on the cusp. Which obviously is a big fucking thing, because obviously since Star Citizen has been in development for so long, it's definitely an awesome thing to have on that one, because that is a big host of news, and I'm fucking nuts over it, as my slightly reservedness is probably eking out. But yeah, so no, I am very much a big fan of what's going on in that, and I want to try and do something that is different in the future for the channels and everything like that. And obviously, there is a thought that is crossing my mind. I don't know how I'm going to process it, or I don't know how I'm going to really enact it, but I am also like, it's definitely something that I have to think about a lot for a while, definitely. But still, that's going to be something that I'll deal with in the future for that. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll hope to catch you in the next one. More episodes of stuff has been rendered, and it will be released, and I will be jumping onto the Hearts of Iron 4 for at some point for like a number of days. So you may find that at the moment, the main stem of content is primarily going to be BattleTech and Empire, but we will be having the the Devil's Zone Henchman playthrough soon. Don't worry, it's coming. It will be recorded this month, and we will probably see some other stuff later on in the month, like late month sort of time. But anyway, I will catch up with you guys in the next one. This is Mr. Jaeger signing out. Thank you also very much for supporting the channel. Love you lots, seriously, guys, and I will see you then. This is Mr. Jaeger signing out.